Stop. Before you do anything else, understand this. The life you're living right now, the endless scrolling, the constant snacking, the binge watching, the avoiding, that is not rest. That is not self-care. That is a prison. And you built it. You built it one comfortable choice at a time. Every time you chose pleasure over purpose, every time you chose ease over effort, you laid another brick in the walls of your own cage. This audiobook is your demolition plan. By the time you finish listening, you will understand exactly how comfort stole your potential and exactly how discipline will take it back. Purpose over pleasure, discipline over comfort, long-term mission over short-term dopamine. This is not motivation. This is a warning. Let me tell you something that no one else will say to your face. You are not lazy. You have never been lazy. That word lazy is a lie you've been told so many times that you started to believe it. You internalized it. You made it part of your identity. And now you walk around thinking there is something fundamentally broken inside you. There is not. You are not lazy. You are addicted. Addicted to comfort. Addicted to ease. Addicted to the path of least resistance. And that addiction is destroying your life. Let me explain what is really happening inside your brain. Your mind evolved over hundreds of thousands of years, and for most of human history, survival was hard. Food was scarce. Danger was everywhere. Energy had to be conserved. So your brain developed a simple operating system. Seek pleasure, avoid pain. Conserve energy whenever possible. This made sense when you were running from predators. This made sense when your next meal was uncertain. This made sense when rest was rare and precious. But that world is gone. You do not live in a world of scarcity anymore. You live in a world of infinite engineered pleasures. You live in a world where comfort is available on demand, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Food delivered to your door in minutes. Entertainment streaming endlessly into your pocket. Dopamine on tap. Pleasure without effort. Reward without work. And your ancient brain, your survival brain, does not know the difference. It still thinks it needs to grab every pleasure it can. It still thinks it needs to avoid every discomfort. It still thinks rest and ease are rare opportunities that must be seized immediately. So it drives you toward the couch. It drives you toward the scroll. It drives you toward the snack. It drives you toward everything easy and away from everything meaningful. This is not laziness. This is hijacking. Your reward system has been hijacked by a world designed to exploit it. Comfort is not rest, it is retreat. Say that again in your mind. Comfort is not rest, it is retreat. When you collapse onto the couch after work and scroll for 3 hours, you are not resting, you are retreating. Retreating from your goals, retreating from your potential, retreating from the person you said you wanted to become. And here is the cruel irony. After 3 hours of so-called rest, you do not feel rested. You feel hollow. You feel guilty. You feel more tired than before. Because comfort does not restore you. Comfort depletes you. It takes without giving. It numbs without healing. You are not lazy. You are addicted. Think about the professional who comes home every night and says, "I just need to decompress." 3 hours later, they are still on their phone, still watching videos, still scrolling. And they wake up the next day and do it all again, week after week, month after month, year after year. They are not lazy. They are trapped. Think about the entrepreneur who spends hours watching motivational content, but never does the actual work. They consume inspiration like a drug, but they never act. They are not lazy. They are addicted to the feeling of potential without the pain of execution. Think about the person who orders delivery every night because cooking feels like too much, who hits snooze every morning because getting up feels too hard, who avoids the gym because the couch feels too good. They are not lazy. They are caught in a loop designed by corporations and algorithms to keep them consuming, keep them comfortable, keep them compliant. You are not broken. You are captured. And the first step to escape is recognizing the cage for what it is. Easy is the enemy of extraordinary. Write that on your wall. Tattoo it on your brain. Easy is the enemy of extraordinary. Every time you choose easy, you choose ordinary. Every time you choose comfort, you choose stagnation. Every time you retreat into pleasure, you retreat from your purpose. The comfortable choice feels like relief in the moment, but it is robbery in the long term. It robs you of momentum, robs you of confidence, robs you of the life you actually want. You have spent years believing you were the problem, believing you lacked willpower, believing you were somehow weaker than other people. That is a lie. The truth is, you are operating with ancient software in a modern world designed to exploit it. But here is the good news. Once you see the trap, you can escape it. Once you recognize that comfort is not your friend, you can stop treating it like one. Once you understand that your brain is lying to you every time it says you need a break, you can start telling it no. You are not lazy. You are addicted to comfort. And today, right now, that addiction loses its power because you see it clearly for the first time. Comfort is not rest, it is retreat. Easy is the enemy of extraordinary. You are not lazy, you are addicted. And addictions can be broken. Chapter 2. The Trap and the Exit. Now that you understand the addiction, let me show you the architecture of the trap. And more importantly, let me show you the only way out. There are two forces fighting for control of your life. Every single day, every single hour, sometimes every single minute. These two forces are pleasure and purpose. And most people do not even realize there is a war happening inside them. Pleasure whispers, purpose calls. Pleasure says stay in bed. Purpose says get up and build. Pleasure says watch one more episode. Purpose says close the screen and work. Pleasure says you deserve a break. Purpose says you deserve a legacy. And here is the dangerous part. Pleasure is a masterful liar. It disguises itself as reward. It disguises itself as self-care. It disguises itself as something you have earned. But pleasure is not a reward. Pleasure is a trap. And the moment you step into it, it closes around you. The trap feels like freedom. The exit feels like work. Let me say that again because it is the most important thing you will hear in this chapter. The trap feels like freedom. The exit feels like work. When you sink into the couch after a long day, it feels like freedom. When you scroll through your phone, it feels like choice. When you order the food and skip the gym and avoid the hard conversation, it feels like you are taking care of yourself. But you are not free. You are falling deeper into the trap. Meanwhile, the exit is standing right there. The workout, the early morning, the difficult project, the honest conversation, the thing you have been avoiding. That is the exit. And it does not feel like freedom at all. It feels like effort. It feels like sacrifice. It feels like pain. So you turn away from it, again and again and again. You choose the trap because it feels good, and you avoid the exit because it feels hard. This is how pleasure keeps you prisoner while making you think you are free. Pleasure keeps you still. Purpose pulls you forward. Pleasure asks nothing of you. It requires no growth, no discomfort, no change. You can pursue pleasure and stay exactly the same person you were yesterday. That is the deal pleasure offers. Stay the same, feel good now, repeat tomorrow. Purpose is different. Purpose demands. Purpose requires sacrifice. Purpose asks you to become someone you are not yet. It pulls you toward a version of yourself that does not exist, but could. Purpose is uncomfortable because growth is uncomfortable. Purpose is hard because transformation is hard. But here is what pleasure will never tell you. Pleasure depletes. Purpose compounds. Every hour you spend on pleasure is gone forever. It gives you a moment of sensation, and then it vanishes. You cannot build on it. You cannot stack it. It does not accumulate into anything meaningful. Purpose is the opposite. Every hour you spend on purpose adds to something. It builds, it grows, it compounds over time. The skill you develop today makes tomorrow's work easier. The discipline you practice today makes next week's discipline stronger. The sacrifice you make today creates options you do not have yet. Pleasure is a loan. Purpose is an investment. When you choose pleasure, You are borrowing happiness from your future self. You feel good now, but you pay for it later with regret and stagnation. When you choose purpose, you are investing in your future self. You might not feel good now, but you collect the returns for years to come. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. Take two people, same age, same starting point, same 24 hours in every day. Person 1 comes home from work and says, "I need to relax." They scroll social media for an hour, watch a show for 2 hours, browse the internet until bed. They sleep. They wake up, they do it again. Person 2 comes home from work and says, "I have 1 hour before dinner." They spend that hour on their side project, or learning a skill, or exercising, or building a relationship that matters. Then they rest, really rest, not numbing, but actual recovery. 1 year later, person 1 is exactly where they started. Same job, same body, same bank account, same relationships, same quiet desperation that they push down every night with more scrolling and more shows. Person 2 is unrecognizable. They have built something, learned something, become someone different. They have options they did not have before, confidence they did not have before, momentum that keeps pulling them forward. Same 365 days, radically different destinations. This is the math of pleasure versus purpose, and the math does not lie. You might be thinking, but I need to relax. I need downtime. I cannot work every minute of every day. And you are right. But let me ask you something. Is what you are doing actually rest, or is it just avoidance dressed up as rest? Real rest restores you. It fills your tank. It prepares you for purpose. Real rest is sleep, connection with people you love, time in nature, silence, stillness. Pleasure is not rest. Pleasure is stimulation disguised as relaxation. Scrolling does not rest your brain, it exhausts it. Binge watching does not restore your energy, it drains it. Numbing is not recovering. The trap feels like freedom. The exit feels like work. You have been choosing the trap because it is easy, because it is available, because your brain has been hijacked to seek it out. But now you know better. Now you see the architecture. Now you understand that every comfortable choice is a vote to stay exactly where you are. Purpose is the exit, and the exit requires you to do what you do not feel like doing. It requires you to choose discomfort on purpose. It requires you to look at the trap and say, "Not today." Most people will never make this choice. Most people will spend their entire lives bouncing from pleasure to pleasure, wondering why they feel so empty, wondering why nothing ever changes, wondering why they have this nagging sense that they are wasting something precious. They are wasting it. They are wasting their life in the trap. But you do not have to be most people. You can choose the exit, right now, today. Not because it feels good, not because you are motivated, but because you understand the math. Pleasure keeps you still. Purpose pulls you forward. Pleasure is a loan. Purpose is an investment. Every time you choose purpose over pleasure, you step closer to the exit. Every time you do the hard thing instead of the easy thing, you break the trap a little more. Every time you say no to comfort and yes to growth, you become someone who can say no to comfort and yes to growth. This is how transformation happens, not in one dramatic moment, but in 1,000 small choices. Purpose over pleasure. Purpose over pleasure. Purpose over pleasure, until it becomes who you are. The trap is behind you now. You see it for what it is, a cage made of comfort, a prison made of pleasure, a lie that promised freedom and delivered stagnation. The exit is ahead of you. It does not look inviting. It looks like work. It looks like sacrifice. It looks like everything your brain tells you to avoid. Walk toward it anyway. The trap feels like freedom. The exit feels like work. But only one of them leads to the life you actually want. Choose the exit. Choose purpose. Chapter 3. Discipline is freedom. You have been lied to about discipline your entire life. You have been told that discipline is restriction, that discipline is sacrifice, that discipline is saying no to the things you want, that discipline is punishment, and because of that lie, you have been running from the very thing that could set you free. Let me destroy that lie right now. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is freedom. It is the only path to freedom that actually exists. Let me prove it to you. Think about your life right now. When you wake up in the morning, who decides what you do? Is it you, or is it your phone? When you sit down to work, who decides if you focus? Is it you, or is it every notification and distraction that pulls you away? When you come home at night, who decides how you spend your time? Is it you, or is it whatever feels easiest in the moment? Be honest, most of the time, it is not you. You are not in control. You are being controlled. Controlled by your cravings, controlled by your moods, controlled by your impulses, controlled by 1,000 external forces that you surrendered to without even realizing it. You think freedom is the absence of rules. You think freedom is doing whatever you feel like, whenever you feel like it. But that is not freedom. That is slavery to your weakest impulses. Structure is not a cage. Chaos is the cage. The person who has no structure in their life is not free. They are trapped. Trapped by inconsistency. Trapped by their fluctuating emotions. Trapped by decision fatigue. Every day they wake up and have to figure out what to do. Every moment is a negotiation with themselves. Should I work out, or should I skip it? Should I work on my project, or should I scroll? Should I eat healthy, or should I order delivery? And every one of those decisions drains them. Every negotiation with themselves exhausts them. By the end of the day, they have spent all their energy deciding, and none of it doing. That is not freedom. That is exhaustion dressed up as flexibility. Now think about the disciplined person. They do not negotiate with themselves. They do not decide in the moment. They decided long ago. They wake up at the same time every day. They work out at the same time. They work on their purpose at the same time. They have removed the decision. And because they have removed the decision, they have removed the drain. They do not spend energy wondering what to do. They just do it. Their discipline has created automation, and that automation has created energy. Energy they can now use to actually build something. Discipline is not punishment. It is freedom. Control your day, or your day controls you. This is not a metaphor. This is a law. If you do not design your day will be designed for you, by your boss, by your phone, by every person who wants your attention, by every algorithm optimized to steal your time. You will spend your life reacting, responding, putting out fires, and at the end of every day, you will feel busy, but you will have moved 0 steps toward anything that actually matters to you. The disciplined person does not react, they act. They decide what matters. They protect that time. They build structure around it, and they execute regardless of how they feel. This is power. This is control. This is freedom. Let me give you a real example. Take the person who wakes up early to work on their dream before the world wakes up, before the emails start, before the demands begin. They have 1 hour of silence, 1 hour where they own their attention completely, 1 hour to build the future they actually want. That person is free. Now compare them to the person who sleeps in, who wakes up whenever their body decides, who checks their phone the moment their eyes open, who spends the first hour of their day scrolling and reacting and letting the world set their agenda. That person is in chains. They just do not realize it yet. The person who wakes up early chose discomfort on purpose. They set an alarm. They got out of bed when their body wanted to stay in. They did the hard thing. And that hard thing brought them freedom. Freedom to create. Freedom to build. Freedom to move toward their purpose before anything else can interfere. The person who slept in chose comfort, and that comfort cost them control. The rest of their day belongs to everyone else. Discipline is not what you give up. Discipline is what you gain. Every act of discipline is a vote for your future self. Every time you choose the hard thing over the easy thing, you are voting. You are saying, my future matters more than my comfort. My purpose matters more than my mood. My mission matters more than this moment. And every vote counts. Every single one. You do not need to be perfect. You just need to vote more often for the person you want to become than for the person you are trying to leave behind. Think about the athlete who trains while everyone else is at the party. Are they being punished? No. They are buying freedom. freedom from regret, freedom from weakness, freedom to perform at a level most people will never reach. Their discipline today creates options tomorrow that undisciplined people do not have. Think about the entrepreneur who works in silence for years while their friends are out living it up. Are they suffering? No. They are building freedom. Freedom from a boss. Freedom from a schedule they did not choose. Freedom to live life on terms they designed. Discipline is the price of freedom, and it is the only price that actually works. You cannot buy freedom with comfort. Comfort keeps you dependent. Comfort keeps you weak. Comfort keeps you exactly where you are. You buy freedom with discipline, with repetition, with doing the thing you said you would do, even when you do not feel like doing it, especially when you do not feel like doing it. Most people see the disciplined life and they think it looks miserable. They see the early mornings, the hard workouts, the hours of focus, the saying no to distractions, and they think, I could never live like that. But they are looking at it wrong. They are looking at the cost without seeing the return. They see the sacrifice without seeing the reward. The disciplined person is not miserable. The disciplined person is free. Free from the nagging voice that says they are wasting their potential. Free from the regret that comes from another day where nothing changed. Free from the prison of their own inconsistency. The undisciplined person, they are the one who is miserable. They just distract themselves enough not to notice. Structure is not a cage. Chaos is the cage, and most people are locked inside chaos, wondering why they feel so out of control. You want to know what real freedom feels like. Real freedom is knowing exactly what you are doing tomorrow morning before you go to bed tonight. Real freedom is not having to negotiate with yourself every time a hard moment arrives. Real freedom is having systems that move you forward automatically so you do not have to rely on motivation or willpower or how you feel. Discipline creates those systems. Discipline removes the resistance. Discipline makes purpose the default instead of the exception. Control your day, or your day controls you. Right now, today, your day is controlling you. You are being pushed around by your calendar, by other people's priorities, by notifications, by cravings, by moods. You are a pinball bouncing between whatever demands the most attention in the moment. That ends now. You take control back with discipline. You decide what matters. You build structure around it. You protect it. You execute it. And you do it again tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that. Not because it is easy, because it is freedom. Discipline is not punishment. It is freedom. Say it until you believe it. Discipline is not punishment. It is freedom. Every disciplined choice is a step out of the cage. Every structure you build is a wall against chaos. Every system you create is a vote for the future you actually want. The undisciplined life feels free, but it leads to a prison. The disciplined life feels hard, but it leads to freedom. You get to choose. Choose discipline. Choose structure. Choose control. Choose freedom. Chapter 4. Cut the cheap dopamine. Your brain is being poisoned, and you are the one holding the needle. Every day, multiple times a day, you inject yourself with cheap dopamine, and every injection makes it harder to do anything that actually matters. Harder to focus, harder to work, harder to pursue purpose, harder to feel anything real. You need to understand what is happening to you at a neurological level, because if you do not understand the mechanism, you will keep losing this fight. Dopamine is the chemical of motivation and reward. It is what your brain releases when you accomplish something. When you finish a hard workout, when you complete a project, when you solve a problem, when you make progress toward a goal. That hit of dopamine feels good, and it is supposed to. It is your brain saying, do that again, that thing you just did, that mattered, that moved you forward. This is earned dopamine, and it is the fuel of achievement. But modern technology has hacked this system. It has figured out how to give you dopamine without the achievement, dopamine without the work, dopamine without the growth. Social media gives you dopamine. Every like, every comment, every notification. Video games give you dopamine. Every level, every reward, every achievement that means nothing outside the game. Streaming gives you dopamine. Every plot twist, every episode, every hour that vanishes. Pornography gives you dopamine, intimacy without connection, sensation without relationship. Fast food gives you dopamine, engineered flavor without nutrition. Online shopping gives you dopamine, the rush of buying without the value of owning. This is cheap dopamine, and it is everywhere. Infinite, accessible, engineered to keep you coming back. And here is what it does to your brain. Every time you accept cheap dopamine, you raise the baseline. Your tolerance increases. The same amount of stimulation stops working, so you need more. More scrolling, more content, more stimulation, more distraction. Meanwhile, the things that produce earned dopamine start to feel impossible. The workout feels too hard. The book feels too boring. The project feels too slow. The conversation feels too effortless. Your brain has been conditioned to expect instant hits of pleasure, and anything that requires sustained effort feels like punishment. You are not bored, you are broken by overstimulation. Let me show you what this looks like in your actual life. You sit down to work on something important, something that requires focus. Within 5 minutes, you feel the pull, the urge to check your phone, to open a new tab, to see what is happening. You tell yourself, just a quick break, just 5 minutes. 2 hours later, you are still scrolling. The important work is still sitting there, untouched, and you feel like garbage, frustrated with yourself, wondering why you have no discipline, wondering why you cannot just focus. It is not a discipline problem, it is a dopamine problem. Your brain has been trained to expect constant stimulation, and the moment you try to do something that requires sustained attention, your brain starts screaming for the easy hit, the scroll, the refresh, the next piece of content. Every scroll steals your focus. Every notification fractures your attention. Every cheap hit of dopamine makes the next real task feel harder. You cannot build anything meaningful with a brain that has been shattered into 1,000 tiny attention spans. Think about how many times you check your phone in a day. Be honest. 50 times? 100 times? 200 times? Every check is a hit of cheap dopamine. Every check is training your brain to seek distraction. Every check is making focus harder. You wonder why you cannot read a book anymore, why you cannot sit through a meaningful conversation without getting distracted, why you cannot work for more than 20 minutes without needing a break. This is why. You have overstimulated yourself into a state where nothing natural can compete. Cheap dopamine costs your future. Every hour you spend scrolling is an hour you did not spend building. Every evening you spend binge watching is an evening you did not spend creating. Every moment you spend seeking the easy hit is a moment you are not developing the capacity to pursue hard goals. But it is worse than just lost time. Cheap dopamine does not just steal your hours, it steals your ability to use your hours well. When you flood your brain with easy dopamine, you damage your reward system. The things that should feel rewarding, progress on a goal, improvement in a skill, connection in a relationship, these things start to feel flat, boring, not worth the effort. Your brain has been conditioned to expect instant gratification, and anything that takes time to pay off feels pointless. This is the trap within the trap. Cheap dopamine makes you crave more cheap dopamine, and it makes earned dopamine feel impossible to pursue. You are stuck in a cycle designed by engineers whose only job is to keep you engaged, keep you scrolling, keep you watching, keep you clicking. They do not care about your focus. They do not care about your goals. They do not care about your future. They care about your attention, and they have built the most sophisticated addiction machines in human history to capture it. You are not weak for falling into this trap, but you are responsible for getting out of it. Let me tell you what happens when you cut cheap dopamine, when you delete the apps, when you remove the easy hits, when you force your brain to recalibrate. The first few days are hell. Your brain panics. It screams for the stimulation it has come to expect. You feel bored, anxious, restless. You reach for your phone 100 times and it is not there. You feel like you are missing something, like something is wrong. Nothing is wrong. Your brain is detoxing. After a few days, something shifts. The boredom starts to feel less intense. The restlessness calms. And then something incredible happens. You start to notice things again. The book that felt boring last week suddenly feels engaging. The conversation that felt tedious suddenly feels interesting. The work that felt impossible suddenly feels doable. Your brain is recalibrating. The tolerance is dropping. The baseline is resetting. And earned dopamine starts to feel rewarding again. This is when purpose becomes possible, not before. You cannot pursue purpose with a brain that is addicted to cheap dopamine. The two cannot coexist. Cheap dopamine is the fuel of the pleasure cycle. Cut the fuel and you starve the addiction. But you have to actually cut it, not reduce it, not moderate it. Cut it. You cannot moderate an addiction. You cannot scroll a little bit and expect your brain to heal. You cannot watch just one episode and expect your focus to return. You cannot check your phone just a few times and expect your attention span to recover. The apps have to go. The subscriptions have to be cancelled. The easy access has to be removed. Completely. I know what you are thinking. But I need my phone for work. But I need to stay connected. But I cannot just disappear. You do not need to disappear. You need to stop poisoning yourself. There is a difference between using technology intentionally and being used by it. Right now, you are being used. Delete the apps that steal your focus. All of them. Social media, games, streaming, news. Whatever keeps pulling you away from what actually matters. Delete them. Remove the browser from your phone. Yes, all of it. If you need to look something up, use a computer. Make it harder. Add friction. Turn off every notification. Every single one. Your phone should be silent unless a human being is trying to reach you in real time. Everything else can wait. Put your phone in another room when you work, when you eat, when you are with people, when you sleep. It does not belong in your hand. It does not belong in your pocket. It belongs away from you. This is not extreme. This is the minimum required to reclaim your brain. You've been operating with a hijacked reward system, and you've been wondering why discipline feels impossible, why focus feels impossible, why purpose feels impossible. This is why. You cannot compete with infinite engineered stimulation. You have to remove it. Every scroll steals your focus. Every cheap hit of dopamine makes the next real task harder. Cheap dopamine costs your future. Stop paying that cost. Cut the cheap dopamine. Reclaim your reward system. Let your brain reset. And watch what becomes possible when you are no longer fighting an addiction designed by 1,000 engineers whose job is to keep you hooked. You are not bored. You are broken by overstimulation. Fix it. Chapter 5. Mission over feelings. Here is the truth that will save you years of waiting. You will never feel like doing the work. Not consistently. Not reliably. Not when it matters most. You are waiting for motivation. You are waiting to feel inspired. You are waiting for the moment when the hard thing suddenly feels easy. You are waiting for the day when you wake up excited to do what needs to be done. That day is not coming, and every day you wait for it is another day you stay exactly where you are. The mission comes first. Your feelings come last. This is not negotiable. This is not optional. This is the only way anything meaningful gets built. Let me destroy the myth of motivation right now. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are weather. They come and go. They rise and fall. They change based on your sleep and your stress and your blood sugar and 1,000 other variables you cannot control. If you wait until you feel motivated, you will work sometimes, when the conditions are right, when you happen to feel good, when the stars align, and the other 90% of the time, you will do nothing. That is not a strategy. That is a recipe for a wasted life. Feelings are not facts. Feelings are weather. And you do not cancel your mission because of weather. The people who achieve extraordinary things, they are not more motivated than you. They do not wake up every day feeling excited and inspired and ready to conquer the world. Most days they wake up tired, stressed, uncertain, exactly like you. The difference is, they work anyway. They work when they feel like it. They work when they do not feel like it. They work when they are tired. They work when they are scared. They work when every part of them wants to quit. They work because the mission matters more than the feeling. Motivation is a lie. Commitment is truth. Motivation says, I will do this when I feel like it. Commitment says, I will do this because I said I would. Motivation is a fair weather friend. Commitment is the foundation you build a life on. Think about the athlete training for a competition. Do you think they feel like training every single day? Do you think they wake up excited for every brutal workout, for every early morning, for every painful rep? No. Most days they do not feel like it at all. Most days their body is sore, their mind is tired, the bed is warm, the workout is cold. Everything in them says, stay here, rest, skip today, you have earned it. But they get up anyway, they train anyway, not because they feel like it, but because the mission comes first, their feelings come last. Now think about the person who only works out when they feel motivated, when they happen to have energy, when the conditions feel right. How many workouts do they complete in a year? 20? 30? Maybe 50 if they are lucky. The committed athlete completes 300, 365 if they are truly committed. Same year, radically different results. And the only difference is, one person let their feelings decide. The other person put the mission first. This applies to everything: your career, your business, your relationships, your health, your purpose, all of it. The writer who waits for inspiration writes one day a month. The writer who shows up every day regardless of how they feel, they finish books, plural. They build a body of work. They become who they said they wanted to become. The entrepreneur who works only when motivated builds in bursts, inconsistent, unreliable. Their business reflects that. The entrepreneur who works every day regardless of mood, they build momentum, consistency, results. Your feelings do not care about your mission. Your feelings care about comfort, about ease, about avoiding anything that feels hard. If you let your feelings run your life, you will choose comfort every single time, and you already know where that leads. The mission comes first. Your feelings come last. I can hear your objection right now. But if I ignore my feelings, if I push through when I am tired or stressed or burned out, won't I hurt myself? Won't I break? No, because there is a difference between ignoring your genuine need for rest and negotiating with your lazy brain every time something feels hard. Real exhaustion requires rest. That is not a feeling, that is a physical reality. If you have been working intensely for weeks without a break, rest, recover. That is part of the mission. Rest is strategic. Rest restores your capacity to execute. But that is not what we are talking about. We are talking about the voice in your head every single morning that says, you are too tired. We are talking about the feeling every single evening that says, you deserve a break. We are talking about the mood that says, today is not the day. That is not exhaustion. That is resistance. And resistance lies. Resistance will use any excuse, any feeling, any story to keep you from doing the thing that matters. Resistance sounds like you. It feels like you. But it is not you. It is the part of you that wants to stay small, stay safe, stay comfortable. And if you listen to it, you will. Work when you feel like it. Work when you do not. This is the mantra of everyone who has ever built anything worth building. The parent who shows up for their kids even when they are exhausted. The builder who works before sunrise because the dream matters more than sleep. The artist who creates even when the inspiration is gone. The leader who makes the hard decision even when they are terrified. None of them feel like it. They do it anyway, because the mission comes first. Your mission does not care how you feel. Your mission does not care if you are tired or scared or unmotivated. Your mission exists independent of your emotional state, and it will remain incomplete until you decide that your commitment matters more than your comfort. Let me give you the most important question you will ever ask yourself. What would I do if my feelings did not matter? if motivation was not required, if you did not have to feel like it, if the only thing that mattered was the mission, what would you do? How would you spend your time? What would your day look like? Write that down. That is your actual life. That is what you are capable of when you stop letting feelings make your decisions. Now compare it to what you actually do. The gap between those two things, that is the cost of letting your feelings run your life. Most people give their feelings veto power over everything. They check in with their mood before they do anything. Do I feel like working out? Do I feel like working on my project? Do I feel like having the hard conversation? And most of the time, the answer is no. So they do not. And another day passes, another week, another month, another year, and nothing changes. Because they gave their feelings the final say. You have to strip your feelings of that power. Your feelings can speak, they can give input, but they do not get to decide. The mission decides. The mission comes first. Your feelings come last. This does not mean you become a robot. This does not mean you ignore your humanity. This means you stop pretending that your feelings are an accurate guide to what you should do. Feelings are terrible advisors. Feelings will tell you to stay in bed, to avoid the risk, to choose comfort, to quit when it gets hard. If you follow your feelings, you will live the safest, smallest, most regret-filled life possible. The mission is a better guide. The mission knows where you are going. The mission knows what needs to be done. The mission does not fluctuate based on your mood or your energy or your doubt. Follow the mission. Let your feelings come along for the ride. Here is what happens when you do this consistently. When you work regardless of how you feel. When you show up even when motivation is absent. When you put the mission first, day after day after day. You build something feelings could never build. You build trust with yourself. You prove to yourself that you are not a slave to your moods. You prove that you can be counted on, that you keep your word, that you do what you say you will do. And that self-trust becomes the foundation of everything else. Confidence, momentum, identity. All of it is built on the repeated proof that you show up even when it is hard. The mission comes first. Your feelings come last. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting to feel motivated. Stop waiting to feel inspired. Start working. Chapter 6. Sacrifice now or regret forever. Every choice you make is a trade. Every single one. You do not get to choose without giving something up. You do not get to have everything. You do not get to pursue purpose and keep all your comforts. That is not how reality works. That is not how time works. That is not how transformation works. Every moment you spend on one thing is a moment you cannot spend on another. Every dollar you spend on comfort is a dollar you cannot invest in freedom. Every hour you give to pleasure is an hour you cannot give to purpose. This is the mathematics of life. Addition and subtraction. Trade-offs, exchanges. And most people lose because they do not understand what they are trading away. When you choose comfort now, you are trading your future self's potential. When you choose the easy path today, you are choosing the hard life tomorrow. When you refuse to sacrifice anything, you sacrifice everything that matters. Let me make this brutally clear. The things you want most in life, freedom, respect, impact, legacy, the body you want, the career you want, the relationship you want, the life you want, all of it costs something. And what it costs is the things you want right now. The comfortable evening, the extra hour of sleep, the expensive dinner, the weekend of doing nothing, the show, the scroll, the ease, the pleasure, the comfort. You cannot have both. You have to choose. Sacrifice what you want today for who you want to become. This is not a suggestion. This is the only path that leads where you say you want to go. Most people are not willing to make this trade. They want the result without the cost. They want the transformation without the sacrifice. They want to become someone new while keeping all their old habits, and they spend their entire lives confused about why nothing ever changes. It changes for the people who pay the price, and the price is always paid in advance. Think about the person who wants financial freedom, true freedom, enough money that they never have to worry, enough that they can live on their terms, design their days, choose their work. That is what they want. But they are not willing to sacrifice their lifestyle now to build it. They spend everything they make. They finance the car. They upgrade the apartment. They eat out constantly. They buy things that feel good in the moment. And 10 years later, they are still trapped, still living paycheck to paycheck, still dreaming of freedom they will never have. Compare them to the person who sacrifices now, who lives below their means, who drives the old car, who stays in the small place, who skips the expensive dinners and invests the difference, who says no to comfort today so they can say yes to freedom tomorrow. 5 years later, 10 years later, they exit. They buy their freedom. They own their time. And the person who never sacrificed anything is still exactly where they started. Still comfortable, still trapped. Same starting point, same amount of time, radically different destinations. The only difference is, one person was willing to trade, the other was not. Trade what you want today for who you want to become. This applies to everything, not just money, your body, your skills, your relationships, your purpose. All of it requires sacrifice. You want the strong, healthy body, but you are not willing to sacrifice the late-night snacks, the sleeping in, the skipped workouts, the comfort of staying on the couch. So you stay exactly as you are, wanting, wishing, waiting for it to somehow get easier. It does not get easier. You get stronger, but only if you pay the price. The person who has the body you want, they paid for it. They sacrificed the comfort. They got up early. They trained when they were tired. They ate discipline instead of dessert. They made the trade. Comfort for strength. Ease for health. Pleasure for pride. And now they have what you want. Not because they are special, because they were willing to sacrifice what you are not. Sacrifice now, succeed later. This is the deal, the only deal, and it is non-negotiable. Let me tell you what happens when you refuse to sacrifice, when you hold on to all your comforts, when you refuse to give up anything. You stay the same, year after year, the same body, the same bank account, the same career, the same relationships, the same quiet desperation, the same gap between who you are and who you wish you were. And that gap grows, because time is passing. You are getting older, and the version of yourself you could have become is fading, slipping further away, becoming more and more impossible, until one day you wake up and realize it is too late. The window closed, the opportunity passed, and you spent it choosing comfort, choosing ease, refusing to sacrifice anything. And now you have nothing to show for all those years except regret. Regret is what you get when you refuse to sacrifice. Regret is the price you pay later for comfort now. The comfortable path leads to the uncomfortable life. Say that again. The comfortable path leads to the uncomfortable life. When you choose comfort at every decision point, when you take the easy road every time, you build a life that becomes progressively more uncomfortable, more trapped, more limited, more desperate. The sacrificial path leads to the comfortable life. When you choose sacrifice at every decision point, when you take the hard road consistently, you build a life that becomes progressively more free, more expansive, more powerful, more yours. This is the paradox most people never understand. They think comfort now leads to comfort later. It does not. Comfort now leads to discomfort later. Sacrifice now leads to comfort later. You have to choose which discomfort you want. The discomfort of discipline or the discomfort of regret. The discomfort of sacrifice or the discomfort of stagnation. The discomfort of hard work or the discomfort of a wasted life. You are going to be uncomfortable either way. Choose the discomfort that builds something. Let me show you what sacrifice actually looks like in real life. Not the dramatic version, not the movie version, the daily version. Sacrifice is saying no when everyone else says yes. It is staying in when they go out. It is working when they are watching. It is saving when they are spending. It is the boring choice, the unsexy choice, the choice no one applauds in the moment. Sacrifice is the person who spends their evenings building a business instead of watching shows, who spends their weekends learning skills instead of recovering from hangovers, who spends their money on investments instead of experiences they cannot afford. Sacrifice is not dramatic. It is quiet, consistent, repetitive, choosing the hard thing over the easy thing, again and again and again, for months, for years, until the compound interest of all those choices builds something that comfort could never create. The person who sacrifices their 20s builds freedom in their 30s. The person who sacrifices nothing in their 20s stays trapped in their 30s, and their 40s, and their 50s, watching other people live the life they wish they had. What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to trade? What are you willing to give up today for the person you could become tomorrow? If the answer is nothing, then you get nothing. You stay who you are, you keep what you have, and the future you dream about remains a dream. But if you are willing to trade, if you are willing to sacrifice the comfort and the ease and the pleasure, then everything becomes possible. Not easy, possible. The night out for the early morning, the expensive meal for the investment account, the binge watch for the skill building, the sleeping in for the workout, the instant gratification for the long-term vision. Trade what you want today for who you want to become. Every comfortable choice is a vote for the life you already have. Every sacrificial choice is a vote for the life you want. You are voting every day, multiple times a day, and the votes are adding up. Where are most of your votes going? To comfort or to purpose? To ease or to growth? To the person you are or the person you could become? Be honest. If most of your votes are going to comfort, then you already know how this ends. You stay exactly where you are, comfortable, stagnant, slowly filling with regret. If most of your votes go to sacrifice, then you already know how this ends too. You transform, you grow, you become someone you are proud to be. The future is not built by people who refuse to sacrifice. The future is built by people who understand the trade, who see it clearly, and who make it willingly, again and again and again. Sacrifice now, succeed later. Trade what you want today for who you want to become. This is the price. Pay it, or stay where you are.
Chapter 7. Systems over willpower. Stop relying on willpower. It is failing you, and it will keep failing you. Not because you are weak, but because willpower is a terrible strategy. It is limited, it depletes, it runs out exactly when you need it most. Every decision you make drains it. Every temptation you resist costs you. Every moment you have to choose between the hard thing and the easy thing, you spend willpower. And by the end of the day, you have none left. This is why you start strong and finish weak. This is why you make good choices in the morning and terrible choices at night. This is why you plan to work on your purpose and end up scrolling instead. It is not a character flaw, it is a design flaw. You are trying to win a battle you cannot win. Not with willpower alone. You need systems. Systems are structures that make the right choice automatic. Systems are environments that make purpose easy and comfort hard. Systems remove the decision so you do not have to spend willpower making it. Build systems, not intentions. This is the shift that changes everything. Most people rely on intentions. They say, tomorrow I will wake up early. Tomorrow I will work out. Tomorrow I will focus on my purpose. They set the intention, they feel good about it, and then tomorrow comes, and they do not follow through. Because intentions require willpower, and willpower is a limited resource that runs out. Systems do not require willpower. Systems make the behavior automatic. Systems design the environment so that the default action is the right action. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. This is not a metaphor, this is a law. If your systems make comfort easy and purpose hard, you will fail, every time. No matter how strong your intentions are, no matter how motivated you feel, your systems will win, and your systems are designed for comfort. Your phone is next to your bed. That is a system designed for distraction. Your snacks are in the cabinet. That is a system designed for mindless eating. Your workout clothes are somewhere in the closet. That is a system designed for skipping the gym. Your work environment has 15 browser tabs open. That is a system designed for scattered attention. These are not accidents, these are systems, and they are running your life. If you want different results, you need different systems. Systems that serve your purpose, not your mood. Trust structure, not willpower. Willpower says, I will resist the temptation when it appears. Structure says, I will remove the temptation so it never appears. Which one do you think wins over the long term? Let me give you real examples of systems that actually work. You want to stop scrolling first thing in the morning. The willpower approach is, I will not check my phone when I wake up. The system approach is, my phone does not sleep in my bedroom. It charges in another room. When I wake up, it is not there. The decision is already made. The temptation does not exist. You want to work out consistently. The willpower approach is, I will motivate myself to go to the gym. The system approach is, my workout clothes are laid out the night before. My shoes are by the door. My gym bag is packed. My alarm is set. My first hour is blocked. The decision is already made. I just execute. You want to do deep, focused work. The willpower approach is, I will resist distractions when they come. The system approach is, I schedule a 2-hour block in my calendar. I turn off all notifications. I close all tabs except the one I need. I put my phone in another room. I use a website blocker. The decision is already made. Distraction is not an option. Do you see the difference? Willpower fights the battle every single time. Systems win the war before the battle begins. Make purpose easy. Make comfort hard. This is the design principle that changes your life. Right now, your environment is designed backwards. Comfort is one click away, one tap, one unconscious reach. Purpose requires effort, requires setup, requires overcoming friction. Reverse it. Make the scroll hard. Delete the apps. Log out of the websites. Put the phone across the room. Add friction between you and distraction. Make comfort inconvenient. Make the work easy. Have your workspace ready. Have your tools open. Have your schedule protected. Remove friction between you and purpose. Make discipline convenient. Most people try to build discipline by fighting their environment. That is exhausting, and it does not work long term. You will lose that fight. Your environment is stronger than your willpower. Instead, change the environment. Design it so that purpose is the path of least resistance. Think about this. You have a bowl of candy on your desk. Every time you sit down to work, you see it, and eventually you eat it. Not because you are weak, because it is there, visible, easy, automatic. Remove the bowl. That is a system. Now the candy is not an option. You did not resist temptation. You eliminated it. You have social media apps on your phone. Every time you have a free moment, you open them. Not because you decided to, because your thumb knows where they are. It is automatic, unconscious. Delete the apps. That is a system. Now the scroll requires effort. You have to open a browser, type in the URL, log in. By the time you do all that, you have created enough friction to break the automatic behavior. This is how systems work. They do not require heroic willpower. They require intelligent design. Let me show you what a purpose-driven system looks like across an entire day. You wake up. Your phone is not there, so you do not scroll. Your workout clothes are ready, so you put them on. Your morning is blocked for deep work, so you sit down and execute. Your distractions are removed, so you focus. Your healthy food is prepped, so you eat it. Your evening has a shutdown routine, so you rest intentionally instead of numbing mindlessly. None of this required willpower in the moment. It required design in advance. You built the systems, and now the systems run you toward purpose instead of away from it. Compare that to the person with no systems. They wake up. Phone is right there. They scroll for 30 minutes. Workout clothes are buried somewhere. They skip the gym. Morning has no structure. They react to emails and messages. Distractions are everywhere. They bounce between tasks. Food requires a decision every time. They order delivery. Evening has no plan. They collapse into content until bed. Same 24 hours, completely different life. The only difference is systems. Trust structure, not willpower. Build systems, not intentions. Make purpose easy. Make comfort hard. Here is what you need to do right now. Today. Not tomorrow. Today. Audit your environment. Look at your physical space, your digital space, your schedule, your defaults. What is easy? What is hard? What is automatic? What requires effort? If the wrong things are easy, change it. Add friction. Remove access. Create barriers. If the right things are hard, change it. Remove friction. Create access. Make it automatic. Your bedroom. Is your phone in there? Get it out. Is your book in there? Put it next to your bed. System designed for reading instead of scrolling. Your kitchen. Are snacks visible? Hide them. Is healthy food accessible? Prep it in advance. System designed for nutrition instead of impulse. Your workspace. Are distractions one click away? Block them. Is your work ready to start? Set it up the night before. System designed for focus instead of fragmentation. Your calendar. Is your time unprotected? Block it for deep work. Are you reactive all day? Schedule purpose first. System designed for creation instead of reaction. These are not small changes. These are foundational changes. These are the changes that make discipline automatic instead of agonizing. Most people think success is about trying harder. It is not. It is about designing better. It is about building an environment where the right behavior is the easy behavior. You cannot out-discipline a bad system. You will fight it every single day, and eventually you will lose. The system always wins. But you can build a good system, a system that makes purpose the default, a system that removes the need for constant willpower, a system that moves you forward automatically. The disciplined person is not the one with the most willpower. The disciplined person is the one with the best systems. They do not resist temptation more than you. They engineer their life so temptation does not show up. They do not make better decisions than you. They design their environment so the decision is already made. Build systems, not intentions. Trust structure, not willpower. Make purpose easy. Make comfort hard. Stop trying to be stronger than your environment. Start building an environment that makes you stronger. Your systems determine your results. Not your goals, not your intentions, not your motivation. Your systems. If your systems are designed for comfort, you will get comfort, and stagnation, and regret. If your systems are designed for purpose, you will get purpose, and progress, and transformation. Design your systems. Protect your systems. Trust your systems. And watch what becomes possible when discipline becomes automatic. Chapter 8. Burn the bridges. You have heard everything you need to hear. You understand the trap. You understand the escape. You know what needs to be done. But you are still keeping the door open. You are still leaving yourself a way back. You are still holding on to the old life. Just in case. Just as a backup. Just to feel safe. and that safety is killing your transformation. As long as the old life is accessible, you will go back to it. As long as comfort is an option, you will choose it. As long as retreat is possible, you will retreat. You need to burn the bridges, all of them. The bridges back to your old self, the bridges back to comfort, the bridges back to the life that was slowly destroying you. Burn the bridges. There is no going back. This is not reckless. This is commitment. This is what separates the people who change from the people who talk about changing. The people who transform burn the bridges. The people who stay trapped keep their options open. Let me explain what I mean. Right now, you are trying to build a new life while keeping the old one intact. You say you want to be disciplined, but you keep all the apps that distract you. You say you want to be healthy, but you keep all the junk food in your house. You say you want to be focused, but you keep all the subscriptions that fragment your attention. You are trying to become someone new while surrounding yourself with everything that made you who you were. That does not work. It has never worked. It will never work. The environment that created the old you will recreate the old you, every single time. You cannot negotiate with comfort. You cannot moderate your way out of addiction. You cannot keep one foot in the old life and expect to build a new one. You have to cut it off, completely, permanently, irreversibly. Eliminate the retreat. Guarantee the advance. When retreat is impossible, advance becomes inevitable. When going back is not an option, the only option is forward. When the old life is inaccessible, the new life becomes necessary. This is how transformation locks in, not through willpower, through irreversibility. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. The apps that steal your time. You have already deleted them once, maybe twice, maybe 10 times, and you keep reinstalling them, because they are always available. The App Store is right there. One search, one download, one login, and you are back in the trap. Delete them and block the App Store. Put parental controls on your own phone. Make reinstalling impossible. Burn the bridge. The people who keep you small, the friends who mock your goals, the relationships that celebrate comfort and criticize growth. You keep spending time with them because it is familiar, because it is easy, because you do not want to be alone. Cut them off, not with anger, with clarity. You are going somewhere they are not willing to go, and if you stay connected to them, you will not go either. Burn the bridge. The job that drains you, the career that pays the bills but kills your soul. You stay because it is safe, because quitting is scary, because you do not know what comes next. Quit. Not without a plan, but quit before you feel ready. Create urgency. Create necessity. When the paycheck stops, you will find a way. When survival is on the line, you will build what you have been avoiding. Burn the bridge. The comfort routines, the late mornings, the endless snacking, the nightly streaming, the weekend recovery from a week of mediocrity. You keep doing them because they are there, because they are easy, because they ask nothing of you. Make them impossible. Remove the option. Cancel the subscriptions. Throw out the food. Rearrange the furniture. Change the locks on the life you are trying to leave behind. Burn the bridge. This sounds extreme. It is supposed to. Extreme situations require extreme measures. And make no mistake, your situation is extreme. You have spent years trapped in comfort, years avoiding purpose, years choosing pleasure over mission. This is not a minor problem that requires a minor adjustment. This is a complete life overhaul, and it requires total commitment. Half measures do not work. Moderation does not work. Trying to keep your options open does not work. The old you is not your friend. The old you is your prison guard. And as long as you keep visiting the prison, you will end up back in the cell. Announce your mission publicly. Tell people what you are building. Make it public. Make it real. Make failure embarrassing. Most people keep their goals private. They tell no one. They work in secret. And when they quit, no one notices. There is no accountability, no consequence, no cost to retreat. Make retreat costly. Tell everyone what you are doing. Post it. Say it out loud. Create witnesses. Now when you want to quit, you cannot do it quietly. You have to face the people you told. You have to explain why you gave up. Most people will not quit if it means public failure. Use that. Let your ego work for you instead of against you. Burn the bridge to anonymity. Make your mission visible. Change your environment completely. If you are serious about transformation, you cannot stay in the same place, the same apartment, the same city, the same physical space that holds all the triggers and patterns of the old life. Move. Literally. Get out. Go somewhere new, somewhere that has no history, no habits, no automatic behaviors embedded in the walls. This is what people who radically transform do. They do not try to become someone new in the same place they became someone old. They leave. They start over. They burn the bridge to the geography of their past. You might not be able to move cities, but you can move rooms. Rearrange your space. Change your route to work. Break every pattern that keeps the old version of you alive. The old you lived here. The new you lives somewhere else. Even if that somewhere else is the same address with different furniture. Here is what happens when you burn the bridges, when you make retreat impossible, when you commit at a level that terrifies you. You panic, at first. Your brain screams. It looks for the escape routes. It searches for the safety nets, and it finds nothing. Because you removed them. You burned them. You made going back impossible. And then, something shifts. The panic turns to focus. The fear turns to determination. The desperation turns to creativity. When you have no choice but to move forward, you find a way forward. When going back is not an option, you stop looking back. When the old life is gone, you stop mourning it and start building the new one. Necessity is the mother of invention, and irreversibility is the mother of transformation. You do not need more information. You do not need more motivation. You do not need more time to prepare. You need to burn the bridges, today, right now. Delete the apps, permanently. Block the ability to reinstall them. Distance yourself from the people who keep you trapped. Announce your goals publicly. Change your environment. Remove every safety net. Eliminate every retreat option. Make the old life inaccessible. Make the new life necessary. This is terrifying. It is supposed to be. Comfort is safe. Purpose is not. Staying the same is easy. Transformation is hard. But you already know where safe and easy lead. You have been living there, and it is not working. Burn the bridges. There is no going back. Eliminate the retreat. Guarantee the advance. The old you is not your friend. The old you is your prison guard. You are not escaping the prison by keeping a key to the cell. You escape by burning it down. Completely. Irreversibly. Permanently. The future you want exists on the other side of the bridge, and the only way to reach it is to make sure there is no way back. Burn the bridges. Start now. You've now heard everything you need to hear. There's no more information required. No more books, no more videos, no more podcasts. You understand. You're not lazy. You're addicted to comfort. Pleasure is the trap. Purpose is the exit. Discipline is not punishment. It's freedom. Cheap dopamine costs your future. The mission comes first. Your feelings come last. Sacrifice what you want now for who you could become. Build systems that serve your purpose, not your mood. And burn the bridges back to your old self. That's it. That's the formula. That's the escape plan from the cage of constant comfort. But here's the cold truth. Knowing this means nothing if you don't act on it. Today, not tomorrow, not next week, today, you must make a decision. Delete the apps that steal your focus. Wake up 1 hour earlier tomorrow.
Schedule the hard work before anything else. Tell someone what you're building so you can't hide. Cut one comfort that's been keeping you weak. You do not need permission. You do not need to feel ready. You need to act. Comfort is easy. Purpose is earned. Pleasure is cheap. Calling is costly. Easy is the enemy of extraordinary. Your future self is watching. Your mission is waiting. Stop choosing comfort. Start choosing calling. Now close this audiobook and begin.